They are underway at the Etihad. Manchester City against Wolves. Here's John Murray.
Yes, off they go, Manchester City and Wolves. Manchester City, just like last Sunday when Chris Waddle and I brought you commentary on Manchester City's match in Nottingham. They have to win here to return to within a point of the leaders, and Manchester City already on the move with De Bruyne on the edge of the box trying to feed it to Haaland. It didn't work this time. Wolves were able to block the pass on the edge of their penalty area, but very nearly a chance for the two of them right at the start, Chris.
Right at the start, sloppy play by Wolves. You know, you've got to clear your lanes. They give the ball away cheaply in a good area for Kevin De Bruyne, and maybe it's built a bit early in the game, but a sloppy pass.
Yeah, there was a suggestion from the Wolves followers that Ait-Nouri might start on the right, and he has, and here he is bursting forward, and Ederson has to come right to the corner of the box to head it out of play for a throw into Wolves over on the right-hand side. For Manchester City, they know, well, at the outset in Nottingham, we were saying, weren't we, Chris, 5 wins and they'll be champions. Now it's 4 wins and they're champions. Arsenal won't be able to do anything about it. How much of a challenge do you think Wolves are capable of making to them today?
Well, we know Wolves are neat and tidy on the day. They've got some very talented footballers, very talented, and you know they can cause problems. But if you look at Wolves, they do concede, and against a team like Man City, you know, you've got to be solid at the back, and I can't see Wolves keeping a clean sheet today.
No, and today Manchester City have brought Haaland and Foden back into the starting lineup. So that is Haaland, the top scorer, with his 32 goals this season, and Phil Foden, who was unwell last weekend, 24 goals. And now, of course, having been named as the Football Writers' Footballer of the Year this week. So congratulations to him, as José Sarr just almost got himself into difficulties, the Wolves goalkeeper, but was able to recover to clear it out of play on the far side. So Manchester City, as they like to do, playing from left to right in the first half, as we look at it from the dressing room, the dugout side of the Etihad Stadium, under grey skies here in Manchester, and it is City in possession with Akanji. The City team, Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Ake and Gvardiol. Then Rodri with De Bruyne and Kovacic either side of him, so Kovacic also coming into the team. Bernardo Silva and Foden in the wide positions, and Haaland through the middle. So Grealish and Doku are among the substitutes today, as is Alvarez. Here's Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. I'll run you through the Wolves team in a moment. But City with Walker, the captain, along the halfway line to Nathan Ake. Pep Guardiola sticking with the same defence that played in Nottingham last weekend, so John Stones is on the bench again, and Ruben Diaz as well is among the substitutes, having also missed out through illness last weekend. Here's Kovacic in a good run of form. Kovacic has passed through, tried to release Haaland, but Kilman went with him and the ball ran through to the goalkeeper.
Well, very patient. Wolves are obviously, as I say in the game, part of the bus so far, not coming up the field, trying to keep the ball when they can keep it. It's up to Manchester City today, and that's why you've got players like De Bruyne. They're so important to the side because they can spot that pass, create something, beat somebody, do something which you need to lock all these men behind the ball.
Well, it is Wolves who are in this unfamiliar all red kit with the white trim, white numbers. Ait-Nouri deep inside his own half, he's surrounded by sky blue, plays it back into the penalty area where Kilman passes it away to Traore, who's on the edge of the box. Then it comes to Lamina here on the left hand side, to Totti Gomez on the left hand side, who clears it away. But Haaland now back to De Bruyne, central, trying to find a position. Semedo just managed to take the ball away from him, scrape it away from the toe of Kevin De Bruyne.
Another half chance. De Bruyne not the best first touch again. It's early in the game, but that's 2 he's had been a chance. But Wolves, this is what Wolves are going to rely on, the counter attack.
They're living dangerously, Wolves, but they are dangerous coming forward. And here on the left hand side is Hwang. He's got behind him Cunha, and Wolves go back towards the halfway line. So Wolves, as I say, with Ait-Nouri playing on the right hand side, so it's a sort of 4-2-3-1 with João Gomez in an advanced position. Here is Ait-Nouri now. Ait-Nouri, he's in good form, he's impressed, hasn't he, in the second half of the season, as Wolves go back into their own half. So Sarr in goal, all in yellow. The back four is Semedo, Kilman, Totti Gomez and Hugo Bueno coming in for Doherty, with Totti Gomez with his blonde bleached hair clearing it to the halfway line but straight into the path of Akanji. Then you have Mario Lemina and Traore in the central position, with João Gomez centrally, and then the front three of Ait-Nouri on the right, and at the moment Cunha on the left hand side and Hwang through the middle.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be very flexible, but they've got to be brave because Wolves like to play. They've got players who want the ball to feet. They're not, they're not a physical set of runners, so they need to be brave on the ball.
Well, here they are now, attacking down the right-hand side with the new Brazilian international, João Gomes. Then Ait Nouri, pacey pass centrally to Cunha. Hugo Bueno is available, but Cunha held onto the ball and then was surrounded, but still going Cunha out to the left-hand side, but Bernardo Silva is able to get a touch of the ball and then plays it off the Wolves man and out for a throw into City in their own right back position. So it is Manchester City 0, Wolves 0. Chris Waddle.
Well, it was a great chance, Cunha there, good counter attack, and he had Bueno on the left hand side, nobody near him. He could have rolled it out to him. He didn't. He decided to dribble and run with it, and eventually he's run it to the corner flag, and Bernardo Silva plays it off him for a throw in. But they are capable, Wolves, but they've got to be brave today because they do like to get the ball down and play.
Kyle Walker takes this throw. Haaland tries to flick it on after his recent period out of the team because of the injury that he had, but returned and scored the clinching goal at the City ground last Sunday afternoon. Ake now heading it forward, Foden trying to reach it, but that's headed forward by João Gomes, and Manchester City will have that halfway inside their own half. Phil Foden, we were talking last week, weren't we, Chris, about whether he might win the award as the Football Writers Footballer of the Year, which he duly did, with Rice in second place and Rodri in third. And as you are a former winner of that lovely little trophy, you know what an accolade it is.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Foden and Rodri deserves it as well. I mean, they're two for me, the two front runners. Declan Rice, yes, done very well for Arsenal, but it was between Foden and Rodri for me.
Yes, I didn't actually tell you last week, did I, who I voted for? I did vote for Rodri.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, here is Kovacic on the halfway line, taps it to his right to Akanji, and Akanji will begin to bring it forward, and then Walker now with a touch, and City, this is patient stuff for them in the middle of the field. Rodri, for those who don't know, has now played in 70 consecutive matches for Manchester City, and the only 2 defeats in that time were in penalty shootouts. He's absolutely pivotal to this team. As it's played forward now to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva, who gets the ball down. Bernardo Silva running at Hugo Bueno, and then left foot ball curling in, headed away by Kilman. Guardiola, then Rodri with a volley on the edge of the penalty area. It bounced up very nicely for him on his right foot, but he hit it maybe 2.5 feet over the top of the bar.
Yeah, he just got under it. It was a difficult bouncing ball, comes towards him, doesn't he? He lashes at it, and outside the foot, always never going to trouble the goalkeeper. That always going high. But City have got to keep the tempo high. They've got to get after Wolves. They've got to get the ball back, and they will definitely. I can't see Wolves keeping a clean sheet today. So Manchester City have got to up the pressure on them, I think, higher up the field.
Yeah, it's tough to see that, particularly when they're on a run where they've not kept a clean sheet in their last 10 matches in all competitions, and really that FA Cup defeat in the quarter-finals, that amazing game against Coventry City, the other Sky Blues, really seemed to knock a lot of the stuffing out of them. And it is 0-0, Manchester City 0, Wolves 0. We've got a choice of listening right now because the Champions Cup Rugby Union semi-final is over on Sports Extra, but there is actually a delayed start there because they're still trying to get all of those 82,000 people inside Croke Park. But they're on Sports Extra right now, and also we're keeping it across the sprint at the Miami Grand Prix, which is underway, and you can listen to that via the BBC Sport website. But Manchester City continuing with the possession. Ball played to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Then back to Bernardo Silva from Kyle Walker. It's all Manchester City here on their home ground where they are so impressive and difficult to beat. Foden back towards Kovacic. Now Akanji shapes a pass to Kevin De Bruyne towards the right. Now here's Foden slips it through. Bernardo Silva with a cross to the back post, just took a touch off a Wolves head, and then a challenge on Guardiola. It's a penalty. Guardiola was arriving inside the box, and the defender just turned. It was Ait Nouri who collided with Guardiola as he arrived in the box, and it's a penalty.
Brilliant football by Man City, I've got to say. The way they were knocking the ball around in the final third there, the tempo they were playing at, Wolves were chasing them, they couldn't get it off him. I mean, it's a silly challenge by Ait Nouri. I mean, he doesn't see him coming, and to be fair with the lad, he's not saw him coming. He's got his eyes on the ball and he's late.
Yeah.
He's late. It's simple as that.
Gvardiol's arriving on
Yes.
it, looking to shoot as the ball bounced up, and as Chris Waddle says, Aït-Nouri just sort of turns into it, tried to clear it.
Yeah, he just thought he was on his own. He was going to put his foot through it.
Missed the ball
Completely.
kicked the man, and it's a penalty in the 9th minute. And Gary O'Neill, who is up in the stands, he's got a one-match ban after those comments that he made at the end of the recent match against West Ham, the controversial decision to disallow the Kilman goal. That's why he's in the stands today for the one match. Well, he can communicate with the touchline, but I mean, no one could do anything about that. Straightforward decision for Craig Pawson. And actually the concern now is both players were injured in the incident. Gvardiol is okay, I think. He's back on his feet.
They both are, they're all right.
And Aït-Nouri took a bang in the face as well, I think, but he's okay. So we're just waiting now for, of course, it is Erling Haaland who will take this penalty.
He's give it.
Yeah, and VAR, I think, has backed that up, as we knew that they would. So a chance for Manchester City for a settle here. In their position, you've been in teams, Chris, vying and chasing and battling for titles. In circumstances such as this is, as I say, Gvardiol just comes off the pitch on the halfway line. He is okay. Guardiola comes across to Gvardiol to check he's all right, which he is. So he'll be coming back onto the field. And now Erling Haaland from 12 yards scored 6 penalties this season out of the 32 goals that he scored for Manchester City. He places the ball ever so carefully on the spot. Still leaning over, just pulling up his socks, and then places his right foot to the right of the ball and then steps away back and to the right. Just 4 or 5 steps, feet wide apart. Haaland comes up and dispatches it into the net, with Jose Sarr diving the wrong way down to his left, and Manchester City have the early goal that they will want. And Pep Guardiola turns away, hands in his pockets, but he'll be relieved, of course he will, that his team has a lead in the 13th minute now.
Brilliant, just puts it down, calm, isn't he? Never panics, he never seems to be in a rush or doesn't look edgy, he just puts it down, takes his time, inside the foot, sends the keeper the wrong way, he goes to the goalkeeper's right, goalie dives to the left. It's the worst thing in the world for Wolves, this, John, because Wolves now, I just looked at the body language of the Wolves players when they're walking back the halfway line here to kick off. All the heads have dropped. You know, there's no sort of, come on, let's roll the sleeves up and get on with it, let's come on. Everybody was basically on a slow walk back to the halfway line. I just cannot see Wolves, and I know it's so early in the game, I just cannot see Wolves coming into this game.
No, that's not a great sign. Wolves, their supporters, they have beaten Manchester City in the league 3 times since they were promoted, and this is their 6th season back in the Premier League, and only a couple of teams have had a better record than that, Tottenham and Manchester United. But to go 1-0 down here, particularly here where Manchester City have been unbeaten in 28 home Premier League matches now. That's since the November of 2022. All through 2023 without losing in the Premier League. Here we are in May now in 2024, and Wolves have got to come from a goal down. So 1-0 Manchester City lead, and Erling Haaland has scored what is his 14th goal in his last 17 appearances for City, 33 in all competitions, and top of the tree in the Premier League goal scoring charts again this season with 22 Premier League goals. The news from Miami is that Max Verstappen has won the sprint, Charles Leclerc in second, Sergio Perez third, and Red Bull are celebrating in the garage, I'm told, as Daniel Ricciardo stays in 4th place. So that is the news from Miami. The race is tomorrow night, by the way, and you'll be able to hear it on 5 Live tomorrow night, the Miami Grand Prix at 8:30. So 1-0 Manchester City lead with a quarter of an hour on the clock. Wolves have barely been out of their own half. Manchester City have won a stonewall penalty, scored it. Here's Kovacic now into the area, and just as the challenge came in from Kilman, I thought he was going to make contact with him, but it was touched behind by Kovacic for a goal kick.
Kovacic was actually expecting the challenge, wasn't he? He was ready to go down. You could see his body language. He thinks I'll touch and go down. Kilman just pulls out at the last second, does the right thing, gets a goal kick. But I'm looking at Wolves, and there's I just don't see any plan. I don't see any energy about them. It looks as if they're just trying to contain City, and it looks like damage limitation.
It does. But we very often see that, don't we, when teams come here. To be honest, it looked a little bit like that with Real Madrid on that night in the second leg of the quarter-finals. And that didn't go City's way. But here's Haaland now. Haaland powerful against Ait Nouri down in the Wolves right back area. Wolves do win it back, and Ait Nouri clears but gives it to Rodri. And then Rodri, there's the confidence again that we see from Manchester City. No worries about the pitch today like there was at Nottingham Forest
that was very lively
last weekend. No, Manchester City look very much at home as De Bruyne plays one into the area, comes back to him and he snatches at a shot. Bounced up to sort of thigh height, went for it with his right foot but sliced it wide.
Doesn't look as sharp, Kevin De Bruyne, as we've seen obviously over the course of the season. He's had a couple of occasions when he's been around that penalty area and he's not controlled at first touches, let him down, which was very surprising for him.
Well, there's a glimmer for Wolves.
Well, it is, yeah, but we're not mentioning that then. 1-0
Manchester City lead, and already on course to close back to within 1 point of the leaders Arsenal. Arsenal, after their win against Bournemouth, and there were periods of that game, certainly listening to our coverage earlier today, where it was absolutely not certain, as De Bruyne brings it forward, as it bounces off Semedo. City are all over Wolves again. Kovacic couldn't find the pass through. It was cut out by Semedo on the edge of the box. The semi-final is underway now at Croke Park, so they've got everyone in, and the match is underway. So Leinster against Northampton. We will give you regular updates on that. You can hear it right now. Chris Jones and Paul Grayson are in the stadium at Croke Park with the commentary, and City come forward on the edge of the area with Rodri. Rodri back to Bernardo Silva. Lovely tight control from Bernardo Silva. Clips it into the back post. Haaland with a header, saved by Sarr. Diving down to his left. 6 yards out, on target. Sarr, left-handed save. City no let up. They come again. Then I thought that might have been a foul on De Bruyne by João Gomez. It's not given by referee Pawson. And Manchester City back in possession on the halfway line. So let's just round things up from Miami. Rosanna Tennant is there with the news on the sprint.
Max Verstappen has just won the sprint race ahead of Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, and Sergio Perez in the second Red Bull made up the podium places. There was chaos at the start. We had a safety car, Lando Norris in the McLaren spinning out, ending his race prematurely, and we've just heard that Lewis Hamilton picked up a speeding ticket in the pit lane, so he has dropped through the order out of the points paying positions. So it's all going in the sprint, but we've still got qualifying for the Grand Prix later here in Miami.
Lovely, thank you very much, Rosanna. Checkered Flag podcast with all of the news from our team on the track, or next to the track, not on it, in Miami. Do you actually get a speeding ticket? Lewis Hamilton, they've got a...
Yeah, that 85 quid. Or you go on
one of those courses, yeah. Foden into the area on the left-hand side, tries to cross it. That's blocked by Kilman. Comes back to the corner of the area. Gvardiol now into the box, lays it back out to the left-hand side. De Bruyne's ball in, it's over Haaland, and it's headed away at the back post by Hugo Bueno. I mean, it just feels like the second goal is inevitable.
I just think Wolves have come here and listen, they haven't really given anything going forward. They just camped on the 18-yard box, in the 18-yard box, let's be honest, and they're just letting City have the ball, and it's just a matter of time before they get 2, 3 and 4.
Manchester City absolutely all over Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're in red, and if this carries on, they'll all have red faces, I think, by half-time, because they're being run ragged by Manchester City, who look very much in the groove, leading through the early penalty from Erling Haaland. Super League match is underway as well at 5:30. Bernardo Silva now into the penalty area, but he just couldn't control it, and actually it just ran away from him, but actually he was offside. Whose was the pass through there to Bernardo Silva? Kovacic. What a pass that was.
Yeah, he's a talented footballer as well, isn't he? Sees the passes, and him and Rodri together, what a pairing they are.
Kovacic, I think, is an example of very, very good player. I mean, he's been at Real Madrid, obviously had those very good years with Chelsea, but to me, he's really clicking now. He looks as though he's now very much in the environment of Manchester City.
Yeah, it suits him, doesn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, playing alongside Rodri as well, Rodri likes to do that defensive side as well, so it allows Kovacic to... The only thing you'd probably say with Kovacic over his career is, with his ability he's got, he doesn't score enough goals.
Exactly that. He's got 3 this season, and okay, this is only the 27 matches he's started, but in the whole time he was at Chelsea, he only scored 6 goals in 221 appearances. But if you ever want to be in a position as a midfielder where you'll get the opportunity to score goals, It is for a team that has just rolled in their 135th goal of this season. Here's Rodri now, deep in Wolves territory in the full-back position. He's nudged over, goes crashing to the ground, wins a free kick.
I just don't see what Wolves' plan is. I don't, honestly. They're trying to play out, they're trying to play from the back. It's slow, it's sluggish, not a lot of movement and not a lot of options. When you look forward, there's nothing up front. Everybody's coming into the midfield. They've got to be brave. If you want to play football against City, you've got to be brave.
Free kick then for City on the right hand side. It's Lee 0, Castleford 10 in the 5:30 kickoff in the Super League. So this free kick in the Wolves left back area. De Bruyne just mopping his brow with his left arm. Phil Foden there, significantly shorter than him, still got that right hand wrapped up as he has done all season. Foden it is, curls it into the back post beyond the far post, and the dive of Sarr, and all the way through for a goal kick.
Was that a shot? The way
Might have
he just
been.
wrapped his foot round that
In a Chris Waddle style.
Well,
I think he might have been going for it.
Well, I think he was going for it. I think he's probably thought, I'll aim for that far post. If somebody comes in and heads it, great. But there was so much pace on it. Nobody's going to get near that.
Manchester City 1, Wolves 0. 1-0 going on 4-0. And 20 minutes played, just over 20 minutes. And a goal kick that Jose Sarr is waiting to take. So Gary O'Neill's in the stand. It's actually his assistant Tim Jenkins who is the man who is on the edge of the coaching area, although he's actually sitting on his seat at the moment, but he's the one that has been deputed to take that role, with Ian Birchnell and Sean Derry supporting him. Gary O'Neill's other coaches, as Manchester City with Walker turn and pass it back into Ederson, who's been a spectator. Went off with a shoulder injury after that collision with Willy Bolly last Sunday afternoon, but he's been past fit, so Ortega's back on the substitutes bench and Ederson's in goal again as Manchester City pass it forward. Here's Walker pushing forward. He's actually in the centre circle now and taking on and beating Mario Lemina. And now Kovacic is tackled by Joao Gomez. Traore gets a touch. It's played forward from deep for Cunha on the left-hand side. This is a rare Wolves attack. He actually goes between Akanji and Bernardo Silva, still going, but then there's a covering challenge from Rodri, who in putting in that challenge has injured himself. He's gone down holding his right foot, so we'll have a little stoppage here while we see if Rodri's okay. And let's get an update. As I say, they're underway, Leinster Northampton in the Champions Cup semi-final. Let's go live to Dublin and Chris Jones.
And Leinster on the board, 12 minutes gone, Leinster 7, Northampton 0, loads of Leinster pressure. They won a penalty, quick tap, Gibson Park, Hail Mary pass, James Lowe scoring, and 80,000 blue flags flying around us. 7-0 after 12.
And as I say, Chris with Paul Grayson, who were there in Croke Park with the commentary over on Sports Extra now on your digital radio, and as well on BBC Sounds. Just look for the live radio at the top on BBC Sounds on the app. If you've not got it, you'll find Sports Extra, and that's where the commentary is. And it'll be the same tomorrow as well, actually, for the Toulouse Harlequins game. They're off to France for that, for the commentary tomorrow afternoon. Premier League football on 5 Live tomorrow. We'll have all of the top sport covered, of course, during 5 Live Sport, which is underway tomorrow at 12 o'clock with Steve Crossman. Manchester City 1, Wolves 0. And Rodri's up, he's okay, and he seems to be moving all right, Chris.
Yeah, Rodri's fine. It was a little sort of step on his toe and his foot, but he's okay, he's not a problem. Wolves have started to come into the game a little bit now.
A little bit. Ait Nouri bringing the ball in field. It's Ait Nouri who conceded the penalty from which Haaland scored. Now it's forward into the penalty area. Hwang, who's barely had a touch of the ball yet in the opening stages, but Akanji and Ake were able to deal with that, the central defenders. Gvardiol heads it forward, Haaland on the turn, but played forward by Kilman, Max Kilman, who's played in all but one of Wolves' matches in all competitions this season. Just missed the Carabao Cup match against Ipswich, who've had a great day, Chris. Ipswich Town back in the Premier League.
Brilliant achievement, 2 promotions. Not easy that, by the way. Look.
Really looking forward to that next season. Looking forward to going to Portman Road as Traore turns the ball back into his own half. So if you're an Ipswich Town fan, give Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton a call on 606 I'll let you know when the lines are open. But 85058 to book your call or hashtag BBC606. Wolves enjoying a spell of possession here in the central third, and actually thought João Gomez was tugged back there, but referee Pawson played the advantage. And now from the left-hand side, it is Cunha with the cross, and Hwang tried to get his head to it. Defender was there. Then it was chipped across from the left-hand side by Hugo Bueno, but goalkeeper Ederson was finally into the action, able to come and take a cross.
I've got to say, the last 5 minutes, Manchester City have been a bit sloppy, having too many touches, not enough movement. And I've watched Pep Guardiola, his arms are waving around. You can see they've come off the pace. You know, it's trying to slow the game down, but this is encouraging Wolves. Wolves have had a good 5 minutes.
Actually, what they've done is, as we often see them, they've had that 20 minutes, haven't they? As they do, they've had that furious 20 minutes in which they scored one goal, could have had at least one more, and now, really, they're having a little bit of a breather. So Wolves are having a better spell, but it is Manchester City in possession. Wolves were the first team to beat the champions in the Premier League this season, back in the autumn when they won 2-1 at Molineux. Here's Akanji passing it through the middle to Foden. Foden, arms whirring, beats two men into the penalty area, and it just runs away from him because Totti Gomez got a touch on it as he tried to go past him. He would have been the third Wolves player Foden went past, and as a result it just ran through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, him and De Bruyne are brilliant at finding them little holes, little space behind the striker, behind Haaland, and they're just getting them little areas, and they've got people who've got the ability to see that and give them the ball. And when they get in them areas and pick it up and get turned, you know, it's so hard to deal with.
Because, Chris, Foden really is playing on the left-hand side, isn't he, in this formation? But there, you know, took up a position centrally, and De Bruyne found him.
I think what basically Man City is, yes, the start of the shape, but players just wander and...
Oh, Rodri to De Bruyne. De Bruyne now passed slightly behind Haaland. Haaland, though, flicks it forward, but flicks it straight through to the goalkeeper. And cheers from the Wolves supporters, because that didn't come off for the big man. No,
De Bruyne feeds him, and you know, for me, Haaland, he's just got to keep getting goal-scoring positions. When you've got Foden playing, especially De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, Rodri, you're going to get chances. Just keep getting in the box, and they'll find you.
And now we do see Tim Jenkins just on the edge of the coaching area for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They are in communication with Gary O'Neill. They're all wired up, so Gary O'Neill can still send instructions down to the touchline as Manchester City start off on another fluent move down the left-hand side. Guardiola and Foden, actually that breaks down, so Wolves now have it on the right-hand side. Little touched pass out there from Cunha, and then the ball is at the feet of João Gomez. Infield towards Semedo. Semedo with a pass out to the right-hand side again. Cunha, Hwang is waiting in the middle. Here is the cross. Hwang is just above his head. Ederson was able to catch it, judged it very well, and then Haaland gives it away near the centre circle. Wolves have it back. Now Hugo Bueno getting involved, pushing up from left back. Hugo Bueno then to Boubacar Traoré with his hair flying as he twists his head. All the way over there to Ait Nouri now on the right-hand side, and then Wolves slow it down, and back it comes towards Max Kilman, who has played every minute in the Premier League this season. Max Kilman, only William Saliba's done that this season. Here is Hwang crossing from the left-hand side, Cunha in the middle, important slide and interception from Guardiola. Now Hugo Bueno with the cross, but that's onto the head of Guardiola, who's able to head it away back towards us, back towards the Wolves left, where it's controlled by Hugo Bueno, and Wolves now are, I think, officially, Chris, coming into the game.
Oh, they're in the game. City's dropped off, as you say. They have that 20 minutes where they get after it and they win. Basically, closes that team, don't give them any space whatsoever, and then they've had that little rest period now, but Wolves have started growing confidence. But I just think the Wolves, when they go forward, they don't have enough players who are committed to get in the box to think if the ball comes in. You know, every time I've seen the ball go in the box, there's one red shirt of a Wolverhampton Wanderers players, and you need more than that if you're going to score goals. But they're having a really good spell the last 10 minutes.
Manchester City on the back foot as Boubacar Traoré gets to the ball first on the left wing for Wolves, and then plays it back to Hwang. Infield, that's a poor touch from Cunha, and now Manchester City suddenly trying to break away downfield. Haaland like a bull at a gate with Semedo, but Semedo is able to get the important touch on that. So now Wolves are back in possession again inside their own half. 1-0 Manchester City lead. At half-time we'll have more reaction to the earlier matches. Our 3 o'clock commentary finished up in a very good win for Newcastle at Burnley, but leaves Burnley and Luton right in bother in the relegation zone, with Nottingham Forest winning 3-1 at Sheffield United. Burnley 24 points, Luton 26, and Nottingham Forest have now got a 3-point gap with 2 matches to play. And we will hear from Vincent Kompany at half-time. So 1-0 Manchester City, back to Dublin and Chris Jones.
Disastrous start this for Northampton. Leinster 12, Northampton 0. James Lowe on the double. He's got another in the left-hand corner. A Leinster blitz. Northampton have to respond. 20 minutes gone. Leinster 12, Northampton 0. Leinster on the attack again.
And commentary continues on Sports Extra. Here is Kyle Walker for Manchester City. Walker infield to Haaland. First time touch. Rodri just eventually got the ball under control, stabbed it to Bernardo Silva. Now Walker again, who I think was shoved in the back by Cunha. He was. So it's a free kick to Manchester City, 10 yards inside the Wolves half. Half an hour played and Manchester City on top, but Wolves asking 1 or 2 questions.
I've got to say, first 10-15 minutes, John, I was City, here we go, how many they're going to score. The last 15 minutes, I've got to say, Wolves look very comfortable in possession. Manchester City so sloppy, giving the ball away, making bad decisions on the passes, and Wolves have come back into it.
Here's Rodri in the centre circle. Rodri actually dwelt on the ball, so João Gomez was onto him there, but he was able to smuggle it to his left to Kovacic. Now Gvardiol with that black beard. Rodri again, but Rodri was just dawdling there, and Hwang nipped round him and got to the ball before it even got to Rodri.
I think Wolves are starting to believe that they can have an effect in this game. The first 10 minutes, I thought there was so much of Man City. It was like we're playing Man City, we're brilliant, but now they've actually started to believe that Man City have started giving the ball away so cheaply.
Yeah, although they've won a free kick, Manchester City, near the edge of the Wolves penalty area. They gave the ball away there, Wolves, and actually João Gomez just caught Kovacic as he slid in. So it's a free kick to Manchester City, just in one of those areas where Kevin De Bruyne absolutely loves it.
You know where this is going? Straight across the goal towards the far post, and who's getting on the end of it? It could even go straight in, so he's going to whip this in.
So it's Foden and Kevin De Bruyne again together. Kevin De Bruyne, who supplied both of the goals at Forest last Sunday, so now has, we reckon, over 160 assists for Manchester City during the course of his time here. Kevin De Bruyne turns 33 this summer, missed so much of this season, but here he is now, hoping to craft another goal for Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne to the left of the ball, Foden to the right. Foden runs over it. Kevin De Bruyne in towards the back post. Sarr drops it. Ake hooks it back across, but the whistle's gone for a foul, I presume, on the goalkeeper. Craig Pawson suggesting that he was blocked.
Well, you can't touch the keepers anyway, so let's be honest. But I was very surprised there with Kevin De Bruyne, how he just floated that to the far post. Why didn't he, the ability he's got, if he aims for that far post inside of it with pace, no goalkeeper wants that. That was ideal for Sarr to come and get. It was just hung in the air. Maybe a bit of lack of confidence on that free kick there.
He can't get it right every time, Chris. So it was Akanji who Jose Sarr bumped into and dropped the ball. It was ruled to be a foul. As I turned to you there, you were shaking your head, so I knew exactly what you were going to say. 1-0 Manchester City. You weren't too impressed with the award of the penalty to Arsenal either, were you?
No, again, listen, I'm not going to go into this again, but we know what we all think of VAR, and
I know what you think of it.
And exactly, and the decisions they make, it's absolutely comical, isn't it? I mean,
well, you'll be able to watch it on Match of the Day tonight, highlights on Match of the Day after the news, or of course anytime on the iPlayer. Read all about today's football on the football pages of the BBC Sport website, and you can listen to all of the interviews and the analysis on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast every morning. Subscribe for free from BBC Sounds. Wolves taking a throw near the halfway line, back to the edge of the area where Kilman passes it back to Jose Sarr, and now Totti Gomez, left-footed ball from him to the halfway line, just gives possession back to Manchester City, but heavy touch by Akanji though. However, Rodri then wins it back, and De Bruyne on the edge of the area, back to Rodri. Rodri lifts it in, Haaland's header across goal and in. He's got 2 on the day, a towering back post header. And Erling Haaland's away, sliding on his knees, celebrating yet another goal. 34 this season now. And with 2 goals for Haaland in the first 35 minutes, I think, everyone thinks, it could be a field day for him here. 2-0 Manchester City against Wolves, and they're on the way to another crucial win.
Well, it was Totti Gomez who plays it from the 18-yard box inside deep, and it plays it forward. They lose it cheaply. Rodri continues, who wins it, continues his run. De Bruyne gives it to him. He just hangs it up at the far post. Just a nice clip at the far post. And how high did Haaland jump there? Nobody near him. He's within 2 yards. He just rises so high, heads it back across Saar into the far corner. Absolutely brilliant header, brilliant goal.
That's amazing. It's like he has springs in his boots.
Well, you never know, these new boots today.
So 2 goals for Haaland.
That was an amazing leap. Amazing.
Yeah. And it was actually, I know it was the ball to the halfway. It was Totti Gomez, as you said, Chris, who gave it away. But it was actually Cunha, wasn't it, who was dispossessed as well, and by Rodri, and Rodri involved twice in the move, and his chip to the back post. And I'm not sure anyone else can jump that high, can they? Ronaldo, of course, has got an extraordinary leap on him.
Rodri just held it up to, just hung it up there at the far post, didn't he? He just jumps. He's like a body, half a body above everybody else.
Yeah. Be interesting to know. I'm sure television will do that and work out exactly how high off the ground it was when he headed it. But 2-0 it is.
And that's what he's good at, John.
Yeah.
That is what he's in the team for. I don't judge Haaland on his up and off play. He's not, he's dribbling, his passing abilities, and what I judge him purely on goals.
Yeah. And his record's not bad. 52 last season, 34 this season, when it feels like every other game I watch Erling Haaland, people criticise him for what he's not doing. Rodri now through to De Bruyne. De Bruyne couldn't slide it across. Totti Gomez was able to slide in and block it behind for a corner.
You get a third before half time, John. It's game over now in my eyes, I've got to say, but a third, wow, how many are going to score after that?
So 2-0 as it is. 84 Premier League goals for Manchester City this season. Their goal difference plus 52 now, but Arsenal's is plus 60. So a corner, Foden's going to take this from the right-hand side. In it comes to the near post, headed away by Kilman on the edge of the 6-yard box, and a City player's gone down in the box. De Bruyne has a look over his shoulder, and referee Poston has stopped play. So Akanji.
No,
is it not Akanji?
Akanji, yes.
Yeah, is going to receive. They're just going to check and see he's okay, because he's got his hand to his head. So Craig Poston had to stop the play. We've got 7 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester City leading by 2-0, and so therefore it would appear on their way to what would be 82 points. So right now Arsenal have got 83 from 36 matches, and Manchester City 34 matches played and 79 points. But obviously City after this will have 3 matches to play, so at Fulham next Saturday lunchtime, then on the Tuesday night at Tottenham, that's the game in hand, and then the final match back here on the Sunday when everyone kicks off at 4 o'clock at home to West Ham. Arsenal next weekend have got to go to Old Trafford to Manchester United. You'll be able to hear that match on 5 Live next weekend on the Sunday afternoon. That's one of our commentaries. 5 Premier League commentaries this weekend, so all of the matches tomorrow you'll be able to hear either on 5 Live or on the BBC Sport website, as Wolves bring the ball away. Akanji's okay. Traore on the edge of the box. He's given it away to De Bruyne, passed it straight to him in the box. Rodri stretches, and Totti Gomez is able to scramble it away on the stretch, but Manchester City win it back again. Far too casual, too careless from Wolves. If they do that, it will be 3 and 4-0 before we know it.
That's the way Wolves play. They play football, nice football, but sometimes you've got to put your foot through the ball, and you look at the body language of Wolves. You can see the back 4 in particular, the back 3, whatever it is, that they just keep thinking, here we go again. They just can't get a good period of possession.
2-0 Manchester City lead. Half-time approaching, so I'll have more on all of today's Premier League matches and also the other issues that were decided, the big scorelines of the day. Good win for Celtic by all accounts, played very well there. 3-0 win against Hearts. Rangers play tomorrow. We'll have coverage of that as Foden is fouled forward of the centre circle. So another stoppage for a free kick. And of course, I hope you were listening earlier. It's a yellow card actually as well for the challenge on Foden, who is in some discomfort and has stayed down. Yep, Lamina is yellow carded for that first booking of the match.
He's unlucky. I've seen the replay. Foden was he was falling over anyway. He was slipping, so he's unlucky.
Still waiting to get to his feet, so let's get another update from Chris Jones in Dublin.
10 minutes till half-time. Leinster 15, Northampton 0. Ross Burns just kicked a penalty to add to those 2 James Lowe tries. Nothing going right for Northampton. Leinster totally dominant. Another few Leinster scores, and it could be curtains for the Saints, who need to respond with 10 to go with the half. 15-0 to Leinster.
Listen to that on Sports Extra. Free kick to Manchester City. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Foden's okay, didn't need treatment. He's on his feet, but that must have been a sore one. He's still flexing his leg, sort of lower leg, maybe ankle. Here is Foden, gets a touch on that. Foden again, so he gives it away on the halfway line, and Hwang is challenged by Kovacic, and it's out of play. No free kick, which is being disputed by some of the Wolves players. It's out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City that Gvardiol is going to take over there on the far side. Under, I think, lightning skies, as Foden stretches forward but loses out, and Wolves can come forward, although Totti Gomez has De Bruyne all over him, has to play it back towards Kilman, and Wolves do though keep possession, and Semedo knocks it back all the way to the edge of the penalty area to Kilman, across the edge of the box from him to Totti Gomez in his yellow boots. Now the pass forward towards Cunha, but Cunha's just nudged into by Kyle Walker, and City have got it.
Well, the thing with Wolves is everybody wants the ball to feet. And you've got to say, Man City are playing so high as a back four. They're nearly on the halfway line all the time, and there's nobody. And with they have got a bit of pace in the side. There's nobody wants to spin the centre halves or the fullbacks and running behind. They all want the ball to feet, and Man City have sussed this out.
City come forward again against this Wolves side, who did win last Saturday afternoon against Luton, but that was their first win in 8 matches in all competitions, and as I say, have consistently conceded goals in the last 10, now 11 matches, and the win against Luton was their first win since that shock defeat against Coventry at Molineux in the FA Cup quarter-final. Manchester City going all the way back to the edge of their penalty area to Ederson. Walker now finds a lovely pass between 2 Wolves players and sets Kevin De Bruyne off over the halfway line. De Bruyne now cutting in field to the edge of the area. Low pass from him to Foden, but it bounced up actually, and that gave Semedo the chance to take it away. Excellent pass from Walker.
Walker, brilliant ball inside to Kevin De Bruyne, and he takes off. I think Kevin De Bruyne should go himself there. He's got in the D, he's got the ability, hasn't he, to finish, to shoot, whatever he has to do. This is more like Wolves should be doing, looking and getting behind. Yeah,
João Gomez for a pass out to the left-hand side. Hugo Bueno pushing down the left wing. Then it's stabbed forward by Cunha. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. He stabbed it into the penalty area and no one made the run. So therefore it was like a back pass to Ederson.
I think he thought João Gomez had made a run forward and out the corner of his eye, and he flicked that ball around the corner, didn't he? But he hadn't made that run.
No.
But that's the way Wolves have got to get back in the game. A couple of passes, see if they can get in down the sides behind us. Man City, who are playing a very high line.
2-0 Manchester City, 2 goals from Erling Haaland, who did actually score a hat-trick against Wolves here last season. One of his 8 Manchester City hat-tricks. In the Super League, Lee 6, Castleford 10 is the latest score, as Manchester City continue to come forward. Kovacic now with a pass through to Haaland. Haaland away from Semedo. He's in for the hat-trick. Oh, Semedo in with a challenge. And he took the ball. The referee very well placed there, and even though Haaland ended up on his backside, I think the referee had a good angle there to see that Semedo took the ball away from the Norwegian.
Craig Pawson, great position, didn't he? He's not as quick as Haaland there, Craig Pawson, chasing him behind him, but Haaland's going to ground. He runs across. He goes across him, he just plays the ball on the outside of his left foot. It's a brilliant tackle.
Did he get the ball?
Well, Haaland goes across him, which you should do as a striker.
Oh, I'm not sure he did.
No, well, is VAR having a look at this?
Well, they will do. I mean, this is not unlike the Ashley Young Hudson Odoi, isn't it? In the Everton.
Well, looking at
it
there, John, it's Semedo plays Haaland's foot.
Well, that's what it looked like
under
to me.
the ball. But Haaland's not making a...
Yeah, they are having a look. I think this is going to be given as a penalty.
It is, yeah. You can see it now in the replay, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pen.
It's a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's very like the Everton-Nottingham Forest incident in that the referee clearly thought that Semedo had got the ball, and they've made a quick decision here. The VAR, Stuart Atwell. It's Stuart Atwell who's the VAR.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. He's not messing about today, Stuart Atwell. He's called the referee across, and Craig Pawson's having a look at this. There are going to be 4 minutes of time added on, and I don't think it'll take Craig Pawson long to see that in fact Semedo took the right foot of Haaland.
Yeah, he's hit Haaland's. Yeah, definitely. I thought it was a great tackle from we're sitting here, and I thought what a recovery. But when you look at the replay,
I'll tell you what confused him as well, because the ball hit Haaland's other foot and deflected away, which made it look like
I can't believe how long it's taken,
Semedo had got the ball.
I can't believe how long it's taken.
Still looking.
How
at the
long
screen.
is it Sunday yet? I mean, how many times? How many angles?
Angle from behind. And Craig Pawson's nodding, so they're talking.
Can you lower the drone?
And still we wait.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, here we go. Finally, I really don't know what the delay was there, but there's the rectangle, and here is the penalty is awarded. It's a second penalty of the match. Second penalty that will be taken, I'm sure, by Erling Haaland, and a chance for Manchester City to go 3-0 up before the break. And in these circumstances, these pressurised circumstances...
Is that not a red card then?
Yellow card for Semedo.
Yeah, but is it not a red card?
Well, he's made a genuine attempt to get the ball, I suppose. That's what he's saying.
Is he?
In the penalty area. So it's not the double jeopardy, as they call it.
Oh, okay.
So it's a yellow card for Semedo.
Wow.
And Haaland is ready. So last time, you know, only a matter of about half an hour ago, he went to the goalkeeper's right.
Yes.
And the goalkeeper dived to his left.
Go the same again.
Same again. So you're saying he will shoot towards the bottom left
corner. As you know,
corner.
I'm an expert on penalties.
Right, Haaland again. This is the same routine. This for another hat-trick. This would be a second hat-trick in 2 seasons at the Etihad for Haaland against this opposition, against Wolves. So Haaland again rights himself, little pull of the socks, adjusts his shorts, then steps back, left-footed. He does go the same way, and he scores. Jose Sa also dived the right way this time, but it had too much pace on it. It was past him in a flash. Manchester City open up a 3-goal lead before half-time over Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Erling Haaland has scored all 3. His 9th hat-trick for Manchester City, his 3rd this season, and he turns away. The Etihad Stadium roar his name, and the big Norwegian with his arms up towards the skies above the stadium in celebration. Manchester City 3, Wolves 0. Erling Haaland 3, Wolves 0.
Does what he does. He's just a goal scorer, out and out goal scorer, simple as that. And I know it's a pen, but again, just puts it away with ease. I mean, Wolves now are looking at what? I mean, I think Pep Guardiola will be looking at substitutions to freshen people up. There's no way Wolves are going to score 4 or 5, so he can do what he wants at half time. He can change it if he wants. They've been brilliant the first half. Apart from that little spell of 10 minutes where Wolves came back into the game, they just so dominated the game so much.
3-0 it is, and I don't think there are going to be any collie wobbles today for Manchester City, in the way that Arsenal really had to work, and a couple of decisions as well that they had to wait for. Here's Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri left-footed ball into the area, but it just drops into the midriff of Ederson, running out from his 6-yard box, and is able to catch that quite comfortably. And well, there are now empty seats appearing inside the Wolves sections and the Manchester City sections. And actually, I think after that, after watching the 3 goals, they've seen the Erling Haaland hat-trick, I think people are just going to maybe get a bit of sustenance. As the ball is played forward by Walker to release Kevin De Bruyne over the halfway line. He's got options either side. Foden ahead of him. Still De Bruyne uses Guardiola to the left side of the box, but Guardiola passes it straight into Ait-Nouri. That was a real opportunity for a fourth.
Well, Kevin De Bruyne had options left and right. I think he was in 2 minds where to play it.
Excellent from Guardiola now, though. He's been upended by Semedo, just in the full-back position. He's being helped to his feet by Erling Haaland, who gives him a hearty slap on the back. A slap on the back from Erling Haaland would probably wind most people. So it's a free kick for Manchester City. It is 3-0 now, and Erling Haaland, who was unveiled this week, as I discovered this morning on our Beat the Commentator contest with Paddy Keelty, was unveiled this week as a Clash of the Clans character, and he's kind of turned fiction into reality here, Erling Haaland, with his 3 goals, albeit 2 of them from the penalty spot. But he's in business for more. You know what he's like on his day when he gets the whiff of goals in his Norwegian nostrils. De Bruyne with this free kick on the left-hand side. It's a packed 6-yard box. De Bruyne waiting now.
He should shoot.
Will he shoot? Will he cross? Whips it into the near post, and it's blocked behind by Cunha for another Manchester City corner.
At least you put that in with pace. I know it was a bit flat and a bit low, but anything you put in that area with pace, you're going to get something out of it. He's got a corner out of it.
Yeah, corner out of it. So De Bruyne to take this from the same side. So he's just standing off the pitch now as the advertising hoardings flash and change. De Bruyne into the back post. Rodri heads it across to the back post. Guardiola might be able to force it in. No. Goalkeeper picks it up in the end. He was in the 6-yard box. It went from foot to foot of Guardiola. It might have deflected off a defender, and goalkeeper Sarr was a very relieved man that he was able just to pick it up when it bounced off. I think Kilman, was it?
It looked like he was doing the Charleston.
It was cha-cha.
Look at that, look. Oh, he's unlucky, wasn't he? Somebody's gone down. Aki, is it?
Yeah, Nathan Aki might need some treatment. So deep in added time, we'll be wrapping things up at the end of the first half shortly. So more on all of the afternoon events and the big news earlier in the Championship. Ipswich's promotion. We now know it'll be Norwich, Leeds, West Brom, Southampton in the playoffs. Birmingham and Huddersfield's relegation confirmed today. Livingston's relegation was confirmed as well. So more on all of that to come, and indeed more from Dublin, where Leinster have got a good lead over Northampton last we heard, and it's Lee 18, Castleford 10 now, so Lee in front there. And at half-time, Manchester City are on the way to victory. A first-half hat-trick from Erling Haaland, 2 of them from the penalty spot, and 1 prodigious leap for a header.
Well, Haaland will get all the headlines, rightly so, goal scorers do, but it's been a very good team performance, I would think, for 35 minutes until Man City just dominated Wolves. The body language of Wolves, they didn't look confident walking across when the game started, and it showed it. Man City have just dominated this football match. Wolves need a good talking to at half time. You know, it's about pride now. This could end up 6 or 7, John.
Yeah, but in the title race, Arsenal have won, Manchester City will win, so it will roll on to next weekend. But half time, Manchester City 3, Wolves 0.
John, Chris, thank you very much. So as John has just been saying, the headlines from this afternoon: Ipswich are promoted to the Premier League along with Leicester. Leeds will be in the playoffs, where they'll face Norwich. Southampton and West Brom will meet each other as well. Birmingham and Huddersfield's relegations confirmed today. They go down to League One with Rotherham. In the Premier League, at lunchtime, Arsenal beat Bournemouth 3-0. Burnley thrashed 4-1 at home by Newcastle, so they're now 5 points behind Nottingham Forest with 2 to play. Forest in 17th after they won at Sheffield United. Celtic are 6 clear in Scotland. Rangers play tomorrow, and Livingston have been relegated to the Championship. Approaching half-time in Dublin, and Leinster lead Northampton by 15 points to 3. That's on Sports Extra, the Champions Cup semi-final. In Super League earlier, Hull KR 40, St Helens 20. That's full-time. Half-time, Lee 18, Castleford 10. 24 minutes past 6. Here's the latest BBC News with Nick.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening. Labour's Sadiq Khan has won a 3rd term as London Mayor as the vote in the West Midlands hangs in the balance. Despite earlier speculation, the contest against Conservative Susan Hall could be close. Mr Khan actually increased his share of the vote, and he thanked his family.
I know there have been times when this job has taken a toll on you, and that's not right or fair. Some of the stuff on social media, the protests by our home, the threats It's upsetting, it's frightening, and it's wrong. I'm truly sorry for putting you through this. But I also know you share my belief, as hard as it can be sometimes, this work is worth doing. Because it means being able to give to other families the same life-changing opportunities that this wonderful city has extended to ours. I love you all so much.
Well, the former Minister for London, Paul Scully, admits the Conservatives didn't do enough in the capital.
Frankly, we've run an incredibly underwhelming campaign over the last year. We haven't articulated any sense of vision. It's just all been, what we're seeing at the moment is very much an anti-Khan campaign and election result, which is actually why he's only, in inverted commas, winning by somewhat 10%, when his party is actually something like 30% ahead in London at the moment. So, we haven't done enough to paint a good picture. That's part of our process, and that's what we've got to actually strip back and learn. But clearly, we're gifting him a third term when he is still failing Londoners. And that, for me, is disrespectful for Londoners, that we've not been able to frame and give them that great choice.
Labour's also won mayoral contests in Greater Manchester, West Yorkshire, the Liverpool City region and South Yorkshire. In the West Midlands, there's a recount in Coventry, which has delayed the result. The contest between current Conservative Mayor Andy Street and Labour's Richard Parker is too close to call. The BBC's elections expert Professor Sir John Curtis says amid some fairly predictable results, the West Midlands could still throw up a shock.
This set of results is pretty much what we would have anticipated, given what the opinion polls have been telling us about the mood of the country and where the Conservative Party, and indeed the Labour and the Liberal Democrats stand. And to that extent, at least, it's not really been a set of surprises. We're just waiting for the West Midlands. If indeed Labour have just scraped home, that I think will be the surprise of this set of elections.
If you want to keep up to date with the local elections, we have a live page on the BBC News website and app. Some other news briefly to tell you about. Talks aimed at reaching a ceasefire in Gaza are resuming in Egypt as Hamas considers Israel's latest offer. The proposal would see hundreds of Palestinian prisoners released in return for the freeing of hostages. And the Co-op says rumours it's considering terminating its partnership with the group running Manchester's Co-op Live Arena are entirely baseless. The venue's been hit with several problems and has had to cancel and delay gigs.
Europe's elite club competition, the Champions League.
Right here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Wednesday night at 8.
Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich.
Harry Kane gives Bayern Munich the lead in the Allianz Arena.
The Champions League.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
An Erling Haaland hat-trick means Manchester City lead Wolves 3-0 at the break. Second half on the way. They've also reached half-time in the first of the weekend's Champions Cup semi-finals in Rugby Union, and the home side lead, Chris Jones.
Dominant, Chappers. Leinster 15, Northampton 3. Practically everything that could have gone wrong for the Saints in that first half did go wrong. Leinster stormed out the blocks. They scored early through James Lowe, got another minutes later, Lowe scoring in the same corner. Rossburn penalty made it 15-0. Saints did have a chance to score, but they overran the final pass. Finn Smith has put them on the board. So Paul Grayson, Northampton's record point scorer. 15-3, Saints are in the game, but kind of hanging on by their fingernails on the cliff edge.
Yeah, from Northampton's point of view, you say, well, at least we're on the scoreboard. If we score next, it's back to a 5-point game. Anything can happen. But the reality of that first half, Northampton patchy in possession, giving the ball away cheaply. Leinster ruthless in possession, creating quick ball, creating offloads. Every time they have it, they look a threat. And then Northampton adding to it by the Gibson Park pass for the James Lowe try. It was a penalty under the Saints post. Saints breathed a huge sigh of relief, started to have discussions about what they were going to do after the kick-off, at which point Jameson Gibson Park takes a tap, throws a 30-yard pass. James Lowe walks in untouched as Saints are looking in the opposite direction. So the feather in their cap, not.
It's still game on Just about. Leinster 15, Northampton 3, but you feel Leinster are ready to turn the screw. Northampton have to pick it up after the break mark. Leinster 15, Northampton 3. They're playing for a place in the Champions Cup final.
Sports Extra to listen to the second half of that. To the day's Premier League football, not a good day for Burnley, beaten 4-1 at home by Newcastle. They're 5 points from safety with 2 to play. Here's Vincent Kompany.
No, you never go into a game thinking that, you'd give anything away. But I think the start of the game suggested that we were ready to continue that. We started really well. We had good momentum. We had chances as well. But you sort of felt that if we can capitalise on that momentum, that they're a good team and their attacking players are as good as any in this league. And today, that's in all fairness, we played against a better team.
Creating something special is going to need you, we think, to basically win both your games and hope things go for you.
I don't even think you need to look that far. For us, the final day of the season is Saturday against Tottenham. And I'm saying final days because that's when all the permutation can happen. If we win and both teams lose, all of a sudden everybody's saying like, wow, you get a final against Forest. If they win, then especially if Forest win, then it's over, no matter what we do. So I feel like that's our final day, and the Forest game, that could potentially be our final if we do something special on Saturday.
And a final question from me: what have you said to the players after this game about what they have ahead of them?
Well, we played against a better team. And I don't think it's the day right now for too big of a debrief. We've done that in the past, but today I don't feel that's it. If it weren't for the last game being against Forest, I might have said to the guys like, look, it's going to be tough. But the reality is we do play against Forest on the last day, so we have to build up towards the Tottenham game with the idea that hopefully something special happens on the day, and that's enough for me, hopefully, to get everyone motivated. It gets me motivated.
Newcastle's win takes them above Manchester United into 6th. Here's Eddie Howe.
I mean, it was slightly different from us today. We tactically changed quite a bit in our performance, but we felt we had to give ourselves the best chance of winning this match. Burnley are quite different. I said pre-game, got a lot of respect for Vincent and the job that he's done, and if you're not prepared for them, it can be even more difficult than it was. But I thought that the lads delivered a really good tactical performance and then delivered a really good technical performance because we played some really good football. We looked like we were free flowing and potentially we could score at any moment. So really pleasing day.
And you're really hitting form at the right time going through to the end of the season. That's you above Manchester United now into 6th, and you're chasing Tottenham.
We're just trying to win every game. We said there's 10 games out. When we had the international break, we were determined to try and attack every single match and give it our best to try and end the season on a real high. We're trying to get there. We haven't won every game, but we've, I think, definitely improved our performances towards the end of the season, and we're getting closer to somewhere near our best level.
So with that defeat for Burnley and Luton's draw with Everton last night, it was a big win for Nottingham Forest this afternoon. 3-1 at Sheffield United. Ryan Yates got one of the goals and spoke to Guy Mowbray.
Well, Ryan, finally, 59 Premier League games in, a Premier League goal. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's class. Got a couple ruled out for VAR last year, and they were checking this one. I was thinking, oh no, please. But no, just buzzing that we got the win, to be honest. It was a huge game. First half we were pretty lacklustre, to say the least, and just grew into the game really, but so glad that we got the win, to be honest. That's more of a relief than anything.
What's it like playing under the sort of pressure that you're under right now? Is there any element of it at all of it that you can actually sort of enjoy and rise to?
Oh, it's a tough one. To be honest, I just love playing football. On this stage, it's an absolute pleasure. Walking out, there's no better feeling. But would I probably rather be mid-table now? Probably yes. But it's all part and parcel of the job, and we're down here for a reason, and it's up to us to get out of it.
To the lunchtime game, 4 wins in a row for Arsenal. They beat Bournemouth 3-0. Declan Rice got one of the goals, and he's been talking to Jonathan Pearce.
Well, very well done, because that was a pressurised environment today, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something we can definitely control and do better when we're leading games here, or if the games are 0-0. Just relax and be a bit calmer. You can kind of feel tension on the pitch between the players, and Bournemouth had their chances in the second half after total domination in the first half, so something we can improve on for sure. But to score 3 in the end and get another clean sheet is all that matters, and 2 games to go now. I feel like we could have been a bit better in front of goal. including myself. I missed a great chance. I was fuming with myself. Should have composed myself a lot better. But in the end, 3 goals, you felt it was coming, and once we got the first, you could sense that we'd go on to win the game.
You can watch it all later, Match of the Day, 10:30 on BBC One. You can talk about it all with Chris and Robbie and 606, although Chris was on Sports Report earlier. He really wants Ipswich fans and nobody else tonight.
I'm sure we'll get them, chappers. Ipswich, Kieran McKenna, back-to-back promotions. What an unbelievable job in the Championship, though, chappers. Birmingham getting rid of John Eustace when they were in 5th. John Eustace wins at champions Leicester 2-0 to keep Blackburn Rovers in the Championship, and Birmingham City, even though they've won, have gone down. Has it been one? That's one of the worst decisions ever to get rid of John Eustace when they're in 5th. Huddersfield going down as well, so it's going to be a lot to talk about. 08085 909 693, chappers.
Thank you very much. Chris and Robbie on the way at the end of the second half from the Etihad, away from the day's football. Max Verstappen has won the sprint race at the Miami Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez completed the top 3. Qualifying for the Grand Prix tomorrow is at 9 o'clock, and commentary of that will be on Sports Extra. Let's go to the Crucible. Earlier, Kyron Wilson beat David Gilbert 17-11 to reach his second World Championship final. Jamie Broughton is in position for the second semi-final to be played to a finish from 7.
That's right, the fans here just taking their seats at this iconic venue, with the Welsh qualifier Jack Jones about to continue his match against the 2015 champion Stuart Bingham. Jones, who's been one of the stories of the tournament so far after knocking out Judd Trump, leads by 13 frames to 10. He dominated the third session of play earlier today. Bingham did, though, win the last frame of that session with a century break to stay in touch, but he needs a fast start tonight if he's to turn this around.
Thank you, Jamie. BBC Television to watch that. In Super League earlier, Hull KR beat the leaders St Helens by 40 points to 20. And they're still waiting to get the second half underway between Lee and Castleford, and Lee lead Castleford by 18 points to 10. So on Sports Extra, you've got the Champions Cup Rugby Union semi-final with Leinster leading by 15 points to 3 against Northampton. Here on 5 Live, you can sit back, enjoy and find out how John Murray's going to make the next 45 minutes interesting.
Well, it sounds as though it's one-sided in Dublin and one-sided here. So
less one-sided in Dublin.
Is it?
Well,
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've got lots of anecdotes and stories to come.
I've got Chris Waddle next to me.
Well, yeah.
What
more could you want to cover a foregone conclusion?
Chris, let's go back to Jack Charlton. And we'll start from there.
I got to spare 10 hours.
Right, here we go. Teams are back out on the pitch. There is going to be a change for Wolves, so Gary O'Neill is going to bring Bellegarde on, actually, and he's coming on for Mario Lemina. So Bellegarde into the midfield for Mario Lemina, who's on a yellow card. So just the one change. There's the whistle from Craig Pawson, and Manchester City dominant first half. How many times have we said that during the course of their years of domination? And they are 3-0 up thanks to an Erling Haaland first half hat-trick. And he will, I'm sure, be looking for more goals to add to that and to increase Manchester City's strong position in this match. So City with Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Ake and Gvardiol, the back four. Rodri in midfield with De Bruyne and Kovacic as Haaland is muscled over by Kilman and wins a free kick. And then today, Bernardo Silva on the right, Phil Foden on the left, and obviously Erling Haaland through the middle. One thing about Manchester City as they go into these final matches of the season, the last couple of weeks of the Premier League season, not a single player on the injured list.
Exactly. I just looked at the bench at half time there, John. I mean, you know, if you're allowed to, you could put the whole subs out there and they'd still probably win this game.
Yeah, Oscar Bob, there isn't space for him on the bench today. Grealish and Doku and Alvarez all on the substitutes bench, so there's power to add as Haaland is eased over again by Kilman, and that's a free kick inside the Manchester City half for the champions. And Wolves with Sarr in goal, back four of Semedo, Kilman, Totti Gomez and Hugo Bueno, and then in midfield Bellegarde coming on alongside Traore, João Gomez, Ait Nouri on the right, Cunha on the left and Hwang Hee Chan through the middle, but the three of them are interchangeable, but we've just not seen enough of them, or bar a spell of maybe 10 minutes during the course of the first half when Wolves had a better time, but Manchester City just forced home their advantage. And now Wolves are playing out from the back. Manchester City attacking from right to left with the sky blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks, against Wolves, who are in the all red change kit with the white trim. And it's Wolves in possession halfway inside their own half, who go back towards the edge of their own penalty area. So as Mark Chapman was suggesting, we do have a choice of listening right now as Northampton try to stage a comeback against Leinster in Dublin. So the commentary from Leinster is on Sports Extra. And Wolves attacking through the middle. Cunha passing it forward to Hwang, but Walker is able to get there first, and with his right foot sends it back to goalkeeper Ederson. Manchester City with Kovacic and Akanji exchanging a 1-2 and playing their way out and beyond Wolves, and then Rodri chips it forward. De Bruyne's onto this on the edge of the area on the left. His touch took it a little wider though. If he got the right touch, he would have been in on goal there. Gvardiol back to Kevin De Bruyne, and De Bruyne then infield towards Rodri, who's 30 yards out. Square from Rodri. Akanji. Rodri touch with his left foot, then his right. Kovacic now to Kevin De Bruyne again on the left hand side, and Manchester City go back towards the halfway line. The other thing as well is county championship cricket matches going on at the moment, the third day of those matches. Remember, every match is live, so that's another choice of listening, and you'll find the live coverage if you delve into the cricket pages of the BBC Sport website. Here is Kovacic, number 8 on his back, the Croatian. Goes off on a little run. He was just clipped. I think referee Pawson might have been able to play advantage there, because he passed it to De Bruyne, but he's brought it back for the free kick.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the first half, the start, isn't it? Manchester City come out of the blocks very quick, moving the ball. Wolves
passive.
Yes, you sit back and think, let's see what happens. But you're getting beat 3, and I'm sure there was talk about damage limitation. You don't want to go away from 6 or 7 from here, and it could easily end up that.
Yeah, so Bellegarde is coming onto the right side of central midfield. He's coming back from injury. There's a talk that Pedro Neto might have been back to as well, who's an important player for them. Missed quite a lot of this season as well with injury, but he's not involved today as Gvardiol wins it back. Kovacic couldn't find the pass forward, but it's actually come straight back to Kovacic. Just touches it to his right to Rodri, and then Kovacic and Gvardiol exchange passes, and Manchester City go back into their own half. And obviously Manchester City, as well as the target of winning the Premier League, there is the possibility of a Premier League and FA Cup double this season. As Kevin De Bruyne slips the ball forward to Rodri. Rodri rides a challenge of Aït-Nouri. Foden with a left foot shot. He was actually backing away, and Sarr, it was on target for the bottom corner even despite that, and Sarr was able to dive down to his right and push it away.
Great football. De Bruyne to Rodri, heavily involved again, Rodri, and I mean, he's just fallen down, Phil Foden, and he can't get the power he wants. As you say, he hits the target, goes to that bottom corner, but it was always a comfortable save, and he's give offside anyway, I think.
Oh, has he? So it wouldn't have counted. Must have been Rodri who was in an offside position. 3-0 Manchester City on this dry, mild evening, I must say, not too far away from the much talked about arena that is still, we've watched it go up, haven't we, in the years that we've been coming here. There's big black box, great plans and great excitement, but obviously it's having its difficulties. But a short distance away, just the other side of the tram tracks from the Etihad Stadium, which itself is being extended, the girders going up as they look to increase the size of this stadium to 60,000 plus capacity. Aït-Nouri swinging a pass out towards the far side, but Hwang can't keep that in, and it's out of play for a throw-in. Hugo Bueno can't keep it in, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City, 10 yards inside their own half. Still lots and lots of people still coming back to their seats, but it does feel as though they've already seen the match.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think the Wolves fans have. There's a lot of them not come back for the second half, so I don't blame them. They'll be disappointed the way Wolves have turned up. When you're playing Man City, you've got to be bang at it, really at it, and they've turned up, and body language from the kick-off for me looked like it was it's your win today.
Wolves' only away match remaining will be Jurgen Klopp's final match. Ake with a poor touch, and then it's offside as Aït-Nouri took it away from him after the miscontrol from Ake, but the return pass from Hwang, and Aït-Nouri had strayed offside, so it's a free kick to Manchester City inside their own half. Yes, if Wolves play like this at Anfield on what is their final match of the season, Jurgen Klopp's last match, I think you can probably take it as read that they'll see Jurgen Klopp off with a closing victory. Here is Akanji, who turns and plays it back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Yes, the expectation, I think, will be, the closer we get to it, and it is 2 weeks tomorrow, the final Sunday of the Premier League season, I suspect our main commentary will be here at Manchester City for the game against West Ham, when it may well be that Manchester City need perhaps a win, perhaps less, to clinch the title for a 4th successive season. Ball cleared away by Ederson to the halfway line, and we're going to go back to Dublin. Is there better news on Northampton, Chris Jones?
There isn't. Third Leinster try. Third try for James Lowe. In the left corner again after brilliant offloading. Leinster 20, Northampton 3. Leinster almost in the final.
And out of nowhere, Wolves have got a goal back. It's been driven into the net by Hwang after a cross from the right-hand side. It was clawed away by Ederson, and he clawed it right into the path of Hwang, who hit it brilliantly. A first-time shot past Ederson. No clean sheet for Manchester City today. Hwang has picked up his 13th goal of the season, and it's now 3-1 Manchester City.
It's a great ball in by Belgrade. But I've got to say, what is Ederson doing? He's not made a decision about punching it, catching it. He's just flapped at it, and give Hwang credit. He comes arrives at the far post behind Kyle Walker. Half volley, difficult skill by the way, with his right foot, and scores.
Lovely finish. So Wolves are on the score sheet, much to the shock of, I think, even the Wolves supporters. Foden, though, with a long pass. Haaland into the penalty area against Kilman. Left foot shot! Brilliant finish! There was no stopping that! And seconds after Wolves got themselves a goal in the match, Erling Haaland scores his 4th of the day. And his 4th is celebrated all around the stadium. They're singing his name. That's the best of the 4 that he scored today. Unstoppable across Sarr, and several of the Manchester City players going to Ederson, who was very quick to give the ball out to Foden, and his long pass, and Haaland did the rest, and it's Manchester City 4, Wolves 1.
What a finish. Great ball by Ederson, great vision by Foden, I think it was. He doesn't really get it under control quite easily, does he? He just turns onto that left foot, wraps his left foot round it on the right side of the box, into the right side of the side net, and the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. He hits it early. Kilman can't get close to him. Great, absolute top-class finish.
4 goals on the day for Erling Haaland, and suddenly he's up to 36 goals this season in all competitions. Suddenly he's got 25 in the Premier League, and remember, last season his total was 36 Premier League goals when he got the Golden Boot. 1 day's work, and suddenly his figures are transformed, and there's a miscontrol from Hwang as it rolls out of play for a throw into Manchester City near the halfway line.
Well, the little hope Wolves had soon disappeared, doesn't it? I mean, the score at one end within minutes. Haaland puts another one in the net.
So 4-1 it is now. Super finish, left foot. There was no stopping that. He absolutely put his foot through it, didn't he? After beating Kilman from the angle, and it flew away beyond the goalkeeper and inside the far post, the top corner. Lovely from Rodri to De Bruyne. Traore's able to cut that out, and Wolves have it back inside their own half. I mean, the goal that Hwang scored, I mean, it was the tiniest glimmer of hope.
It was a great finish, by the way.
A great finish.
A really good finish, but yeah, I mean, they must have thought, yeah, we got, you know.
But immediately snuffed out by Erling Haaland as Cunha is fouled, and that is given as a free kick.
No, that wasn't a free kick.
And that's what the Manchester City players are saying as well, but it has been given as a free kick for Wolves. So a chance for them to have a go at goal with the angle. It'll be approaching 25 yards. Kovacic it was with the challenge on Cunha.
I mean, this is ambitious if he's going to go for goal here. He's obviously not. He's put his hand up as a signal there.
Yeah, there is a signal. So with the angle, we're expecting this is going to be chipped in from the left-hand side. It's just a one-man wall, Kevin De Bruyne. and the Wolves players massing on the edge of the penalty area. Here's the delivery from the free kick in towards the back post, and it's gone beyond everyone and bounced all the way through, and it's a goal kick for Manchester City.
It's not a bad ball. It's landed in the 6 yard, just on the 6 yard line. Nobody's attacking it. There's 3 City players just looking at it going out to play. That wasn't a bad ball.
However, no one was able to get that, and it is a goal kick. In the county championship, Somerset have beaten Essex by 3 wickets inside 2 days play. So Rodri is challenged by Traore, but the ball ran to De Bruyne, and De Bruyne is able to take it into the centre circle, where he is then eased over by Totti Gomez, and Kevin De Bruyne is not impressed with that. Gets to his feet, and he looks like an angry man. And I think at 4-1 down, if you don't want to be making Kevin De Bruyne angry, Kovacic easily away from the challenge. Then De Bruyne, and Haaland shoots again, and that's deflected wide and up and over the top corner and behind for another Manchester City corner.
That's what he's good at. You know, De Bruyne, Foden, whoever supplies him, he likes to get out of his feet very quickly, one touch. He knows where the goal is. Good players do. Doesn't look up, just knows where the goal is. It's a good block.
Kevin De Bruyne plays it back to Kovacic from the corner. Kovacic then square from him. Foden. Wolves have got everyone back in their own defensive third, defending this set piece, which Kovacic has played back into the centre circle. Walker's able to pass it out to the right hand side to Rodri. Rodri then through to Ake inside the penalty area. Ake, it's a cross from him, but cleared away by Kilman, who was able to readjust and pass it out towards the far side. And Wolves are able to bring the ball downfield, and it's played by Cunha to Hwang. Hwang turns infield. He's got Walker with him, and he slips it forward to Cunha on the right hand side. Cunha with the cross to the back post, right across the 6 yard area. Hugo Bueno's got it now into the area on the left hand side. Hugo Bueno is then held up by Foden. Ball still in play though. Bellegarde throws himself at it. Defender was in there as well, Walker. There are shouts, I think, from the Wolves supporters that might have been maybe a handball, or maybe for Walker's challenge on Bellegarde. Referee Pawson not interested. Manchester City break away now to the halfway line. Rodri though just holds it up, left-footed pass diagonally across the halfway line to Gvardiol. Gvardiol, who's been in the goals recently, carrying the ball on, giving it to Haaland. Great chance, and the right foot shot is pushed over the top by Sarr. Haaland denied again.
By the way, great move from the back. You know, they break it up on the edge of the inside the Man City box, and the Man City players play it all the way through. Haaland, one touch with his left, next touch with his right, straight at Sarr.
It's one of those days, you know. So how many times do we say he's hardly had a touch, Haaland? You know, never had an attempt on goal during the course of the match, and this is one of those days where it clicks absolutely for Haaland. And yes, he's had 2 penalties, but he scored 2 of the goals, and he could have had at least 2 more as well. De Bruyne then with this one, right-footed corner into the near post, headed away back to De Bruyne, who just gets the ball under control in the full-back position, then lifts it to the back post. It's headed across by Rodri. Gvardiol wins it back, and he curls a shot goalwards, but it's over the top right corner and behind for a goal kick.
They're queuing up, aren't they now? They're all wanting to go on it, but I mean, I've got to say, give Wolves a bit of credit. They've upped the tempo slightly. They've actually had a goal second half, but the substitutes are getting warmed up on City, and I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 coming on very soon.
So we've got half an hour to play. 6:06 will follow, of course. Every Saturday and Sunday night of the football season. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton taking your calls tonight on 08085 909 693, or you can text 85058. Live sport continues. Leinster very much in charge against Northampton. That is on Sport Extra right now. The snooker is on BBC television tonight. It's now Leigh 22, Castleford 10 in the Super League, and that Essex defeat in the county championship to Somerset comes after Essex won their first 2 matches this season. So 1-2, lost 1. Long downfield from Sarr, but Gvardiol is able to take charge. Warm applause for that. Kovacic put under pressure inside his own half. Kovacic against Bellegarde. Actually, Bellegarde has been able to get the ball away from him and is then fouled by Kovacic. So it's a free kick to Wolves on the right hand side that João Gomes will take. João Gomes taps it to Ait Nouri. And then back to João Gomez again, little pass in between two players to Bellegarde, and Wolves go back into their own half. Chorus of Blue Moon breaks out. They unfurled an enormous blue moon in the centre circle before kick-off today when we had David Silva, didn't we? David Silva was introduced to the crowd. First time David Silva's been back here for a match since he retired. Here is Ait Nouri now for Wolves. Ake in with a challenge, and the ball bounces away to Bernardo Silva, and the offside flag is up, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. But a great ovation for little David Silva, who was here with his family.
Rightly so. What a top player.
Yeah, he came back for the unveiling of his statue, but to be back here on match day, such a great favourite. So that was a lovely way to build up to the match. Actually, the penultimate home match for Manchester City this season. De Bruyne playing the ball back to goalkeeper Ederson, and Ederson up to the right hand side to Akanji. Here's 4-goal Haaland. Now De Bruyne over the halfway line to Foden. Foden has Haaland on the run between the two central defenders, but this time Foden wasn't able to pick out the pass as he did for the 4th Haaland goal, and Wolves cut it out. Cunha drives it forward, but Manchester City, De Bruyne steps forward. He was clipped there by Traore as he took it on. That'll be a yellow card for the Wolves midfielder, and it is. Out it comes, the yellow card. So a free kick to Manchester City in the middle of the Wolves half.
It's a definite yellow. He's played okay, Colin. Traore, he's played quite well.
Yeah, he's the middleman in there. He's got his gloves on, actually.
Well,
I'm not sure why.
No.
Haven't even got a coat on today. Akanji back nearer the halfway line, square to Ake. The sun just coming out as well in Manchester on this Saturday evening. The sun shining on Manchester City, who are romping towards another big win. Although Wolves, Hwang turns it to Bellegarde. Cunha wants to pass, shows him where he wants it, rolls it into the penalty area for the run of Cunha, but Akanji was able to come across and get there first, and Manchester City are able to snuff out the danger as Pep Guardiola walks forward in one of his big chunky cardigans, which is open at the front. No stress today for him. I think scoring in the 13th minute.
I've been watching him. I've had his moments, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, he always does.
Yeah, he does,
doesn't he? He always feels it, kicks every ball, and until they are over the line and confirmed as champions, no, he will not be taking anything for granted. As Ake now, a long run forward from him, and he's brought down as well. João Gomez coming in, and they've
yellow.
Yeah, they might have just clashed ankle bones or something like that, and João Gomez is going to be booked for that one. Very similar to the previous yellow card, really, when De Bruyne was brought down by Traore. This time Ake is brought down by João Gomez. Just, I think, caught his knee on Ake's foot.
It's a foul, no doubt about that, but I think the substitutions will be coming on the next 5.
Well, now all 3 Wolves midfielders who started the match, the central midfielders, have been yellow carded, although Lamina was substituted at half-time, and yeah, changes are coming. So get ready for them. 25 minutes to go. 6:06 to follow. 08085 909 693. If you're on your way home, if you're at any of the championship matches earlier, or indeed any of the big matches that mattered up and down the country, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton would love to hear from you on 08085 909 693. I suspect the lines will be hot from Suffolk this evening for Chris. Hope he's bracing himself for plenty of Ipswich Town calls. Norwich City, though, in the playoffs, might have them both back in the Premier League next season. There's applause for Rico Lewis, who's the latest substitute to come out to warm up. Manchester City 4, Wolves 1. Manchester City very much making up for the defeat that they suffered at Molineux earlier in the season, when incidentally Pep Guardiola had to sit in the stand for that game. He was banned from the touchline for that match, and Gary O'Neill is banned from the touchline for this match, and it'll be glum viewing for him up there. I'm not sure what company he'll have sitting up there beside him, as Phil Foden is bundled over. That's a free kick, middle of the Wolves half as well, and it's John Stones we're going to see. I did wonder whether he would be in the team today, He's been an unused substitute the last couple of matches, but John Stones is going to get a run out for the final quarter of this match. Free kick taken short by Manchester City. Here's Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva waits for the run of Walker, but then hits the decoy, comes in field. Bernardo Silva, Kovacic just next to the referee, who's able to avoid getting a touch on the ball, and then Kovacic gets it back from Guardiola and takes it back towards the halfway line. It's going to be Nathan Aki who's going to be replaced.
They're just slowing the game right down, City, aren't they? Keeping the ball, letting the ball do the work, and Wolves are quite happy to keep Man City in front of them.
Yeah, and here they come again now. Bernardo Silva. I mean, they had a sniff for about 60 seconds, Wolves, when Hwang made it 3-1. And as I say, round about a minute later, Erling Haaland smashed in that shot to make it 4-1. Bernardo Silva in the full-back position. Rodri now just tried to delicately chip it across, but it was blocked by the legs of Totti Gomez. Now Bernardo Silva again. Back to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker rolls it further back towards the halfway line to Akanji with his sky blue shirt just outside his white shorts. Now Rodri, right-footed ball all the way across to Guardiola. Guardiola drives it across the 6-yard box. No one got a touch until Hugo Bueno, not sure of where Bernardo Silva was, just swept it out for a throw.
Rodri's crossfield ball to Guardiola on this side, fantastic pass, and then one touch out of his feet, and really Haaland should be anticipating that, going across the 6-yard box.
The change comes. Ake is replaced by John Stones, and England need him fit and firing. I'm sure Gareth Southgate would love to see him get regular football over the course of these final 3 Premier League matches, the FA Cup final as well. He's missed so much football this season, Chris. He's not played in 28 of Manchester City's matches this season, so that's round about half of the matches John Stones has not played. 4-1 Manchester City lead. Let's see the latest on Northampton, who are struggling in Dublin against Leinster. Chris Jones is there.
Struggling, but with their first try, John. Leinster 20, Northampton 10. Great ball, Alex Moon. George Hendy chip and chase. Worked out for him. He scored. Great Finn Smith conversion. And despite Leinster's dominance, it's only a 10-point game on the hour mark. Leinster 20, Northampton 10.
And listen to Chris and Paul Grayson on Sports Extra right now. And in the morning, they're off to France for commentary on Toulouse Harlequins. So it'll be a similar story tomorrow. Toulouse Harlequins on Sports Extra with the Premier League on 5 Live. Oh, lovely from Foden on the halfway line to go between 2 Wolves players. Take it on, left-footed cross. Oh, just Totti Gomez got a touch. Haaland was ready with a bicycle kick. Bernardo Silva, though, shoots across goal, but well wide of the far post and behind.
Oh, what a run by Foden down this left-hand side, and what a ball. Haaland lined that up, didn't he? We've seen the bicycle kick or whatever it was. He's flying through the air. It was just that slight deflection from Kilman which took it away from him.
He was like one of those superheroes there, wasn't he? He launched himself. Haaland, he gambled that Totti Gomez wouldn't get a touch on it, and the little glance meant that Haaland was left flying through thin air, swinging his left foot at the ball, 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and the gasps there, I think that must have just been shown on the big screen in the corner of the ground. And Wolves about to make another change with one Bueno coming on and the other Bueno coming off, which is good. So Santiago Bueno, who's missed a little bit of time, he's had a thigh injury, he comes on, and it might well now be 3 central defenders for Wolves, with the Uruguayan coming on to replace the Spanish Bueno. 20 minutes to go. Manchester City 4-1 up on Wolves. Yeah, it'd be tough watching for Gary O'Neill up in his seat in the next tier up. Not sure who he's got for company up there. I learnt on Friday that it's claimed that Wolverhampton Wanderers were once watched by none other than Hercule Poirot. That was Friday's fact of the day.
He couldn't solve this, mate.
Yeah, well, I think he'd be able to work out fairly quickly what the outcome was going to be here. He wouldn't need to gather everyone round in a room, Hercule. But that was Friday's fact of the day from Tony Livesey, who revealed that Hercule Poirot in the ABC murders is actually hinted to have been to a football match involving Wolves, as I discovered since Friday. So Tony was playing a little fast and loose with the actual fact there, but it's near the end of the season, so we'll let him off. That's every Friday, 5:20 on 5 Live in Drive, as Rodri brings the ball forward and gives it to Haaland, looking for a 5th goal of the match for him, which is, of course, is a target he's already achieved on a couple of occasions for Manchester City, most recently against Luton this season. Here's Waddle, then Rodri, now out to the left-hand side to De Bruyne, who lifts it up, left-footed to the back post. Bernardo Silva's able to take it down there and move out towards the edge of the area square from him. Rodri, Foden, left-foot shot, blocked, back to Foden, right-foot shot. That's blocked behind and away for a corner.
That's a little bit, it's great play, don't get us wrong, it's great to watch, but it's a little bit too easy. I think if you look at the body language of some of these Wolverhampton Wanderers players now, they're walking around thinking, they must be saying to the referee how long's left.
And the answer to that, I'm afraid, from their point of view, is best part of 20 minutes. It's 4-1. There's no hint of a Wolves comeback. I think you can already take your pen out and put Manchester City down for 82 points in the Premier League table. Here's the corner, just over Haaland, comes out to Rodri, back heels it, Kovacic with a drive, it's saved, comes back to Kovacic, but he was following on after his shot and he was only able to deflect it out to the left-hand side, and he's been followed out there as well by João Gomez, who I think was fouled. He was by Waddle, so it's a free kick to Wolves in the
well, Kovacic there, didn't he, to get a shot. I mean, difficult, quick feet, just gets it out of his feet, unbelievable to get a shot. It was Rodri, little back heel outside the right foot, another good save. Definitely, I don't say Wolves haven't really got anything to change it neither, have they?
No, they've actually got a 15-year-old on the bench, Chris.
Yeah, he's been on the bench for a few games now, hasn't he?
Where's Okaduwa?
I think they've got 3 young players on the bench, haven't they?
They've got a host of young players. Nathan Fraser as well, who's had a couple of opportunities this season, the 19-year-old forward. Chirewa, who's 20 years old. As Wolves bring the ball out from the back, passed back by Santiago Bueno to his goalkeeper. Sarr clears to the halfway line. Then João Gomez to Traore, who backs away from Haaland. He saw him coming there and then was able to keep his feet and keep the ball. Totti Gomez to Bellegarde, and then Wolves go back into their own half again. 15 minutes to go. So as I say, the Champions Cup commentary is on Sports Extra. The Grand Prix is on 5 Live tomorrow night, and also tomorrow all 3 matches will have commentary. Chelsea West Ham you'll be able to listen to via the website. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Brighton Aston Villa is on 5 Live from 2, and Liverpool against Tottenham is on 5 Live from 4:30. But another busy sporting day. Manchester City's women could clinch the WSL tomorrow, so we'll have coverage of that. I was speaking to some of the Manchester City media staff who are getting themselves ready for that tomorrow, and of course we'll have the racing from Newmarket as well, and everything else. 4-1 Manchester City lead, and Rodri, Foden goes all the way back to John Stones. We're going to see a triple change for Manchester City, Chris. So 4-1 down, Grealish and Doku are going to come on, and they'll be absolutely desperate, won't they, to impress. As well as a league title to be won, there are places to be played for in the FA Cup final team against Manchester United. There's no short of incentive for these Manchester City players who are coming onto the field, and that all adds up to bad news for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Wolves are making the first before the 3 Man City players come on.
Yep. So for Wolves, it's Sarabia who's coming on for Mateus Cunha. So Sarabia will take his place up front, the Spanish international, the number 21, and we will not see the City changes yet. And it's Mateus Nunes who's going to come on as well, the former Wolves man, who was given quite a torrid time in the match at Molineux earlier this season. You remember he left in not the best circumstances after just 1 season at Wolves, even though Manchester City paid over £50 million for him, and he's still got plenty to prove in a Manchester City shirt, having not really had
but
the
he's never got it.
opportunities.
I know when you get in the stadium, you've got to take your chance, haven't you?
Yeah. And he didn't have the best of days at Molineux in that match earlier on this season. Manchester City playing it out from the back. Great touch from Foden there to set De Bruyne away from inside his own half. Traore's trying to reach him, but he's on a yellow card. Traore's got to be careful. De Bruyne plays it to the right. Bernardo Silva. It's over the top of Haaland, who somehow has managed to get his head to that and nod it goalwards.
I don't think he meant that.
It hit his head.
Yes, that's
and bounced into the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Go down as an attempt on target. That,
well, there
Chris.
you go. Stats.
Yeah, another one of those. And now Wolves have the ball on the halfway line. At this stage, I think everyone gathered here knows the outcome. There will be no Wolves comeback in this match. As it's curled forward by Sarabia, but then Kyle Walker is able to see it back to his goalkeeper, Ederson. Jubilant singing in the stands from the Manchester City supporters. City bringing it out from the back, Stones. It's like walking football now, isn't it? It's like the pre-season friendlies that many of these Premier League clubs, if not all of them, will be involved in various parts of the world in a couple of months' time. It's funny how that's never mentioned, is it, when people are talking about the number of matches that Premier League teams play. They're travelling around the world and playing the pre-season friendlies. Foden, forward for the run of De Bruyne, but Totti Gomez is able to deal with that.
At the end of the season, before
post-season friendlies.
Yeah.
In the week before the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Australia, I think, might be the venue for some of those. As we're going to have a triple change for Manchester City in a moment. Once the ball goes out of play, it's played forward by João Gomez, but Hwang is tackled. Rodri then loses out. João Gomez brings Ait Nouri into it. Ait Nouri now on the left-hand side, ball in, all the way in, and the chance for Sarabia in the middle. He got away from both Guardiola and Akanji, but couldn't get his shot on target, shot wide.
Oh, great, what a ball in. He knew he then, and all of a sudden, you just get anything on that, on the target, and you score. It's a great ball in. May have been offside, might have been, but great ball in.
So here come the Manchester City changes. So coming off are Foden, De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. So Kevin De Bruyne leaves the field first. Huge cheer for him. Mateus Nunes, the former Wolves man, is booed on by the Wolves supporters but cheered on by the Manchester City fans. And Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva, who today have been, well, Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva, haven't they?
Listen, we know what you get from them. They're very consistent. That's why they play at Man City in the top of the league. You know, that's why they win trophies. These players over the course of the season, so consistent, and they are very talented.
So Jeremy Doku goes over there onto the right-hand side, and Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. And Jeremy Doku and Haaland still on the field, so he's not being replaced. And so Haaland, 4 goals to his name already today, will have the final 10 minutes or so. Pep Guardiola, having missed, not been in the starting 11 for the last 3 matches, and 4 goals to his name now, having scored against Nottingham Forest last weekend too. Pep Guardiola knows that Haaland is having one of those days, and knows that the confidence of, if he's able to get at least 1 more goal, will do the big man no harm at all. That's what he wants, isn't it? That's what he lives by, Erling Haaland. Those numbers, those goal numbers that we've been talking about. Traore bringing it forward, giving it out to the right-hand side to Semedo. Semedo eventually gets the ball under control against Grealish, then back to Traore. João Gomez, the Brazilian, puts his foot on it. It's been chased by Jack Grealish and then just flicks it back to Semedo. And then Sarabia is able to turn away from Akanji and give it down the line to Hwang. And the South Korean is onto this, but just checks back, gives it on his right foot, rolls it back towards Sarabia. Santiago Bueno's involved as well, coming up from the back. And then Hwang carries the ball in field, low ball into the edge of the area, scooped forward by João Gomez, but through to the goalkeeper.
Good possession, but never looked like any end product, did it? So Alvarez is going to come on. I think that might be for Haaland.
That could be it. He might declare on 4 today. Erling Haaland, 4-1 the score. All the goals scored by Haaland, 2 of them penalties. as Ederson ever so casually passes the ball out to Grealish, who was under pressure there and actually is fouled by Santiago Bueno. So I think we will have the change now. Up goes the board, and of course the numbers haven't worked, so I think it will be Haaland. Did we see a flash of a number? Yes, it is. He's not happy.
He's not happy.
Yeah, he's chuntering away to himself there. And then the applause. People are on their feet here. He's had one of those days, Erling Haaland. 4 goals to his name today. All 4 Manchester City goals. 2 of them from the penalty spot. A towering header and a brilliant left foot finish. And he walks to Erling. He walks right up to Pep Guardiola, who was looking to hug him. But Haaland was having none of that.
No, he's not happy at all.
And he almost nudged Guardiola out of the way as the two of them just had that little exchange. And I think Guardiola tried to explain to him what it was all about. They clasped hands together. There might be a little slap on the wrists later for that.
Well,
it wasn't Salah Klopp, was it, by any means?
No.
As Akanji plays it back to the edge of the penalty area. So there we are, 4 goals today for Erling Haaland, so 36 for Manchester City this season, and he's now opened a clear gap at the top of the race for the Golden Boot with 25 Premier League goals for Erling Haaland. 4-1 the score. Wolves bringing it forward with Bellegarde. Bellegarde runs into Walker, who's just able to knock the ball away. Back to Wolves though, and Traore, a crossfield pass from him to Semedo, who takes it down, and then Sarabia for the run of Semedo, but Guardiola just increased his pace. It was a sprint between the two of them. Guardiola won it and was able to play it back to Ederson, who cleared it. The ball is kept in play by Manchester City. Alvarez coming on as the substitute, so now it's Alvarez playing through the middle for Manchester City. Alvarez, who scored in that game at Molineux earlier this season.
On Haaland in the dugout.
Is he still?
He's thrown his boots down.
Is he?
He's thrown his shin pads.
Oh dear. He's not had his way. 4-1. Manchester City coasting to victory. Well, what about Dublin? Chris Jones.
14. Well, it's Leinster 20, Northampton 10. It is still game on. Northampton have hung in there practically all game. They've just forced a 5-metre scrum. If they can execute, it could be a fascinating final 7 minutes. Leinster 20, Northampton 10, 5-metre scrum to the Saints.
So if that is what's floating your boat, it is on Sports Extra right now, the commentary on BBC Sounds and on your digital radio, which is where you'll be able to get the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning. Lee 28, Castleford 16 is the latest score in the evening Super League match. And one of the Wolves youngsters is going to come on, Chirewa, as Rodri passes it to Alvarez, left foot. That's number 5. And Alvarez scores here, as he did at Molineux earlier in the season. Right, left foot shot underneath the dive of the goalkeeper, and Manchester City 5, Wolves 1 now.
Well, we know he scores goals. He's a very good footballer actually. He joins in the play, links up well. Obviously he's not going to get the amount of goals Haaland gets. He's a very unselfish player, but that's a very good finish by the way with his left foot. City high press. Rodri just rolls it into one touch left foot finish. Very calm. Just strokes it into the bottom corner. Lovely ball by Rodri, great first touch by Alvarez, and great finish. And now that's why somebody tell Haaland that's why they took him off.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pep Guardiola might have turned round to Haaland. In fact, he did celebrate both fists in the air, punching the air, and he would have been within his right. I'm sure he wouldn't, because he'd know the television cameras would pick him up, but just to raise an eyebrow to Haaland. There you are, one of your teammates. You've come off, one of your teammates, that being the operative word, has come onto the field and scored a goal and got to 18 goals himself this season.
That's a good return, that.
And that's now beating his total of last season, Alvarez. So 17 last season, all competitions, 18 this season. And that's not bad when really he's the backup to Erling Haaland.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Very good player.
He comes and links the play, works ever so hard as a player as well.
Yes. Julian Alvarez, he is a good team man, because when Guardiola calls on him, he very often delivers and has a brilliant collection of winners' medals now as well, having started the World Cup final when Argentina won it. Part of the treble-winning team last season. Obviously won the FIFA Club World Cup with Manchester City earlier this season and scored a couple of goals in that final. And he's also got a Copa Libertadores winners medal. So that's almost, I would think that's almost a unique collection of winners medals that Alvarez has. So now we will see Tawanda Chirewa come on, and he's going to replace Hwang, the Wolves goal scorer. So on he comes, the number 62, tall and thin, and he is taking a position over there on the left-hand side for Wolves. Can play on the right, but he's been brought on.
I don't think it matters where he plays.
Exactly. Yeah, 5-1, and I don't know how much added time we're going to have in this game, but Craig Pawson could effectively blow the whistle as soon as we get to the 90. This is not. It's a foregone conclusion. There has, however, been late drama inside Croke Park. Chris Jones, what's happening there?
Unbelievable stuff here, John. Leinster 20, Northampton 17. The Saints are taking this down to the wire. Seabrook scoring in the corner. Brilliant kick, Finn Smith. 4 minutes to go. 3 points in it. Leinster 20, Northampton 17.
So that is where you might want to go right now. Sports Extra with the commentary, Chris and Paul Grayson together for that. 6:06 will be on the way in the next probably 10 minutes, certainly in the next 10 minutes or so. While you were listening to Chris, Doku had a run at goal and a shot that was saved.
Great run. Picked it up on the halfway line, didn't he? Just ran with pace, went past 3 red shirts. Finish wasn't the best, didn't get a lot of power behind it.
Here is Doku again on the right-hand side, gets the ball in low, but straight into the path of Kilman, who is able to pass it away for Wolves to Chirewa, who's just come onto the field. Wolves can't get it out of their defensive third. Kilman is in danger of being dispossessed by Alvarez, and has actually, with a pass, he's asked an awful lot of Semedo. There was no chance he was going to keep that in, so it's a throw into Manchester City on the left-hand side. Manchester City dominant again. This is going to be 6 Premier League wins in a row, and as we know, 3 more after this, they will be champions. They're going to close to within a point of Arsenal, but of course Arsenal have played one more match as Mateus Nunes just collides with Santiago Bueno, but it's behind for a goal.
If you look at the running, John, they've got, there's not a team where you look at and actually think, you know, they're going to cause them a lot of problems. Fulham, we know, are playing the season out now, not having a great run. Tottenham, very hit and miss. And West Ham coming here, dangerous, we know that, but you just cannot see them stopping Manchester City scoring.
Yeah, it's going to be 20 Premier League matches unbeaten. It's going to be 29 home Premier League matches without defeat, as Sarr waits to take this goal kick. And again, Manchester City have done it again in the second half of the season under Pep Guardiola, when they are so dominant. Coming into today, it was a 78% success rate that Manchester City have in their Premier League matches between January and May under Guardiola. 4 minutes of added time, just the last knockings of this match. Lines open to talk to Chris and Robbie on 606 08 085 909 693. We'll bring you the live interviews as well from the tunnel here. It's bound to be a very pleased Pep Guardiola that we'll hear from with Gary Flintoff during the course of 606.
Will it?
Well, that is actually as good a point as you've made today, Chris. You never quite know the mood that Pep Guardiola is going to be in as Alvarez brings it forward. So we're into those 4 minutes of added time now. Gvardiol with the ball at the back. Here's Grealish, just runs his foot over the ball and then evades the challenge that comes in from Sarabia and takes it back into his own half. Gary O'Neill as well. We'll hear his view. Kovacic as well evades João Gomez, is able to find a pass to Doku. Doku pulls it back. Oh, and Mateus Nunes miscontrolled it 8 yards out.
He's got to hit it first time. Hit it. He's 7 yards out. It's on his right foot, just hit it.
What a chance to score his first goal for Manchester City against his old club. Yes,
Haaland.
Yes. So Erling Haaland.
He'll be shouting at Pep Guardiola now. Did you hear that?
Must mention as well, I promised to give him a mention, having been on Beat the Commentator this morning and actually beating 10-year-old Arthur. He said, how about giving a mention? He's on tour with his rugby club, so Sid Cup Rugby Club under 10s are on tour. So They've probably finished their matches, and he's probably playing chase the ace with his teammates right now. But I said I'd give him a mention, so I hope that's made up for his embarrassing defeat this morning. 5-1, Manchester City lead, and the ball is out of play for a throw-in to City that Gvardiol is going to take. Erling Haaland is now in discussions with Nathan Ake. He's still not happy, is he?
No, he's not happy.
Greedy, or just what a centre forward should be?
Yeah, I think he's had time off. He's missed games, and he could probably see another 2 goals or 3 goals. That's why,
Here's Doku now with a run in from the right-hand side. Chirewa went with him, just about did enough. Doku might get another chance here, just outside the penalty area, gives it out to the right-hand side. Mateus Nunes is there, back to Doku inside the penalty area. Little flick from him, flicks and tricks now. Mateus Nunes and Doku together. Walker, lots and lots of gaps now in the Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they might be listening to us in their cars on the way back home. They've been well beaten today, Wolves, who have 2 more matches to play. Home to Palace, their last match at Molineux this season, and then that Klopp finale at Anfield on the final Sunday. And actually many Manchester City supporters as well have left their seats now and have gone off to enjoy their Saturday nights. They'll be celebrating, they'll be toasting Erling Haaland. I'm sure many of them, those who aren't regulars, will maybe have not seen one of these days when Haaland has hit form in the way that he did, and admittedly 2 penalties, but a classic header and a classic left foot finish. Here's Doku on the right hand side. 08085 909 693 to call 606. Doku with the cross in towards the near post. Totti Gomez goes down and heads it behind, and we'll have one final Manchester City corner.
Yeah, listen, it's been a very easy game for Manchester City today. He's been allowed to bring the subs on and do what he wanted. They've been total control from the kick-off. Wolves have just turned up, but that's it, turned up.
That Villa defeat for Arsenal, so costly, isn't it, with the run that Manchester City have had. As I say, about to make it 6 Premier League wins in a row. Corner taken short by City on the far side. 20 seconds to play. It looks as though 5-1 is going to be the final score. But Kovacic to Grealish, perhaps one more attack, one final attack. Grealish drifting infield and curling a pass to Doku on the right-hand side. Gets it under control, doesn't cross, takes on Ait Nouri into the penalty area, beats him, low ball to the near post, and the goalkeeper with his legs has blocked it around the near post, but there'll be no corner. That's the end of the match. Comprehensive win for Manchester City, knowing that they need to win all of their matches to make sure of retaining the title. This was an absolute walk in the spring sunshine, as it is now in the evening here at the Etihad Stadium. 5-1. Haaland scored 4, Alvarez the other, and Hwang got one back for Wolves.
Yeah, it was just one-way traffic, wasn't it? Let's be perfectly honest. Wolves had turned up, and that was it. And Manchester City have just totally dominated this football match from the first minute to the last. And they had 10 minutes. Wolves had 10 minutes probably where they came in the game, but apart from that, absolutely easy win for Manchester City.
Another final word from Chris in a moment, but is it over in Dublin with you, Chris Jones, in the semi-final there?
It is. What a finish, what a game. Leinster have done it. They're through to the Champions Cup final for a 3rd straight year. They've beaten Northampton by 20 points to 17. Dominant for so much of the game. Dominant on the scoreboard. It looked like Leinster were going to kill the game off any moment. But what heart, resilience and skill from Northampton to score that try and take it right down to the wire. Then they pressed and pressed. But Leinster came up with the turnover to win the game and send them to Tottenham to play the winner of Toulouse and Harlequins, who meet tomorrow in France. Leinster through, but what a performance in defeat by Northampton. Leinster 20, Northampton 17.
Thank you very much, Chris. So Paul Grayson and Chris Jones, once they wrap things up there, they'll be heading to France in the morning to bring you commentary on Toulouse against Harlequins, which kicks off at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So Leinster against either Toulouse or Harlequins in the final. That's on Sports Extra. As the players leave the field here, the Manchester City players waving to all sides of the Etihad Stadium, and the Wolves players as well, going to their fans, who those of the Wolves travelling support who are still inside the ground. But we will have commentary on all 3 Premier League matches tomorrow. A packed 5 Live Sport tomorrow afternoon, all of the top sport. But the Premier League commentaries, Chelsea West Ham, you can listen to via the website. From 2 o'clock, it's Brighton Aston Villa. From 4:30, Liverpool against Tottenham. And I might just mention as well in the morning, in Colin Murray's programme after weekend breakfast, Sean Dyche, the Everton manager, will be among Colin's guests between 10 and 12 o'clock. But a final word from Chris Waddle. Manchester City very much doing here what they had to do. It's very difficult, isn't it, to see them not winning these 3 final matches.
Well, whatever Arsenal do, Man City better it, and this is the problem. And Arsenal's got to hold the nerve, they've got to keep going, but this Manchester City team, with everybody fit, you see in the bench today how strong it is. I just cannot see anybody stopping them winning it.
All right, Chris, thank you very much for your company. Next weekend, Manchester City against Fulham on Saturday lunchtime. So City go first next weekend, and then on the Sunday afternoon, Arsenal will be at Manchester United, and you'll be able to hear that match on 5 Live. But that's it from us here in Manchester. Final score, Manchester City 5, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, and 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will follow after the 5 Live news with Nick Hatfield.